والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.
Surah Al-Asr. Let's begin inshallah with the recitation of this amazing surah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. This surah, subhanallah, revealed to the Prophet ﷺ in Mecca. Okay, most of the scholars of tafsir said it was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ in Mecca. Its placement of the Quran is quite interesting. Does anyone know what surah comes before Surah Al-Asr? Ali. Ahsant. Alhaakum al-takathur. Ali, come take a chocolate, mashallah. Take a chocolate. These are the big chocolates. Is it okay to give? Alhaakum al-takathur. In Alhaakum al-takathur, Allah is talking about how man is preoccupied with what? Trying to get more and more. The rat race. More and more, that's what distracts a lot of people. Isn't that true? Most people in this world, their lifelong goal is just to get more and more. Yeah, more power, more fame, more money, more credentials. True? What surah comes after Surah Al-Asr? I can't give you another chocolate, by the way. وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَ. The next surah is speaking about how people are distracted in life, trying to hoard money. So the first one is speaking about how to get more and more. But once you've got more and more, what do people do? They spend the rest of the time thinking about how to preserve it. How can I invest this money? How can I secure it? I've got a fantastic house. I need to get a camera system now, yaar. That car outside is not going to protect itself. You need to get a state-of-the-art alarm on there. So people are distracted because they're trying to get more, or when they've got more, they're trying to hoard, preserve. So both of these things are speaking about, what occupies people's minds. Yeah? Surah Al-Asr comes in the middle, and it kind of explains the question, okay, what does it distract them from? Okay, we know that money is distracting them, trying to get more is distracting them, hoarding is distracting. What is it distracting them from? Surah Al-Asr explains that the reality is that man is being distracted from becoming like الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Do you understand that? Like your kids got an exam next day and watching cartoons or playing games. You say, look, don't do that, it's distracting you. Yeah, tomorrow's your exam. Meaning it's distracting you from studying. This is the thing that is distracting you from. Takathur and, the addada is distracting you. But from what exactly? From this, becoming like these unique individuals. Okay, so that's the placement of Surah Al-Asr. In terms of a comparison, a close comparison, a very similar surah in the Quran is Surah At-Tin. True? Surah At-Tin sounds a lot like Surah Al-Asr. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونَ. In Surah Al-Asr, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Very similar. What is interesting is that if somebody was to read Surah Al-Asr, he reads, Asr, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ فِي خُسْرٍ. That indeed man in general is in a state of khusr, loss. Loosely translated as loss. You might think that, come on, is that the way God made us? Were we born to be losers? True. Somebody might think that is this the way God created man, to be loser? Is that the way it is? Surah At-Tin, Allah said, no. We created man fi ahsani taqweem. We made man originally in the best mold possible. We gave him the best potential, the best resources. Everything was geared towards him being a successful person. That is the way I placed him on this earth. Born to succeed. However, most people, they don't fulfill their potential. And then they land themselves in khusr, loss. So the comparison, it gives extra meaning. Yeah? At-Tin and Asr. Now the overall message of this surah, Ibn Ashur said that the overall message of this surah is focusing on three things. Okay? First thing it's focusing on is explaining how human beings, especially those that do shirk with Allah and disbelieve in Allah, will be in a state of total and utter loss. Because they lived a lifestyle which was essentially doing everything Islam came to warn against. All these things Islam came to warn against, you decide to do all those things. That's why you're in a state of khusr. Then Allah explains the second thing, which is that in order to avoid this fate, do these things. 4 things. Okay? So this is the overall message. However, there's a spirit behind the surah which needs to be understood before we explain it. And this spirit was given by Imam al-Razi rahimahullah. He says that in this ayah, there is an intense warning as Allah declares utter loss against all man except for the one who approaches Allah with these exceptions. The language illustrates that salvation hangs in the balance of these 4 things. The sense of alarm is triggered with the first 2 verses. Very beautiful. Wal asr, Allah taking an oath by time. And then declaring that man in general is in a state of loss. If anyone was reading that for the first time, pondering over the meaning, they think, what? Is this what's going to happen to us? A sense of alarm, shock. Is this the fate of man? إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Oh, so this is the escape. This is how you avoid this fate. This is like the spirit, inshallah. This surah, one of the 3 shortest surahs in the Quran. Despite it being one of the shortest surahs in the Quran, it has such a comprehensive message that Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah said, لَوْ تَدَبَّرَ النَّاسُ فِي هَذِهِ السُّورَةِ لَكَفَتْهُمْ. That had man pondered over this surah, it would have been enough for them. SubhanAllah, the shortest surah. Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah said that the fact that this surah contains such a comprehensive message, but at the same time is so short, points towards the greatness of Allah. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was so merciful to us that He placed within such a short surah, which maybe all of us have memorized, such a profound message. As if to say, you don't need to read the whole Quran. If you really thought about this surah, just this one, short one, is enough for you. Yeah. And another narration, Imam Shafi'i said, had Allah not revealed anything save Surah Al-Asr, لَوَسِعَتْهُمْ. It would have been vast enough for them. It would have been enough of a guidance for them. So, subhanAllah, the message is very deep, okay, and very profound. So we need to really think about everything properly, okay, properly, and with an inquisitive mind. Don't be shy to have questions in your mind. Ali radiallahu ta'ala, he was one of the most knowledgeable companions. Ibn Hazm rahimahullah said that Ali radiallahu ta'ala, in terms of the number of fatwa he issued as compared to all the other companions, ranked at number 3. Number 3 in terms of the number of fatwa. And Ali was asked, how did you become so knowledgeable? He said, I had an inquisitive mind. I had a insightful heart and an inquisitive tongue. An inquisitive tongue, meaning he would ask questions. Understand something? Ask question. No problem. And that is how, he said, he became very knowledgeable. Okay, so Allah began by taking an oath. Now you have to understand, in ancient Arab times, if somebody was to give a speech and he's going to say something really important to people, one of the ways they would do that is by taking an oath. Okay, so Allah began the surah with an oath, and that already sends a message that what's going to follow is extremely important. Listen, pay attention. But the thing is, what did Allah take an oath by? Al-Asr. What does Al-Asr mean? At-Tabari rahimahullah mentioned a number of opinions. One of them is Ad-Dahr, time itself, meaning time as a phenomenon. Okay, all of time. Other opinions are revolving around two things: a specific time, or the actual salah of Asr itself. Yeah, the third salah in the day. That is what is the third opinion. Regarding the second opinion, that it is about specific time, then there is a difference of opinion as to what specific time. Some of the scholars said it is the last portion of the day, just before the night is about to come in. That portion of the day, that is what Allah is referring to. Others said it is the time between Asr and Maghrib. Very similar to the first. However, what Imam At-Tabari rahimahullah said is that the preponderant opinion in this case is that Al-Asr refers to Ad-Dahr. Al-Asr refers to time. Allah has taken an oath by time in general, all of time. And Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said this is the rajih, this is the opinion that he believes to be the strongest as well. So if that is the case, my brothers and sisters, that Allah took an oath by time, specifically by time here, and then told us the jawab of the qasam, the thing that he is taking an oath to be a declaration that man in general is in khusr, is in loss. Why do you think that he chose, subhanahu wa ta'ala, to take an oath by time as opposed to something else? Okay, we've got one answer here. Anyone from the sisters? One answer from the sisters as well. Tahir, you fancy yourself as a good candidate for this one? The thing is, if you get it badly wrong, then everyone's going to forget about the good one you've done before. Yeah, so make sure you're convinced. Sister, would you like to go ahead? What do you think? Okay, sister said because it's kind of saying that this is a message for all time, all places, all generations. Is that what you say? Okay, it's an address to all man. Okay. Anyone else from sisters? You want to say? Anytime, yeah, that's the meaning. Yeah. All right, you think about how you want to explain it. I'm going to ask you again, all right? Okay, Nahid by first. What do you think?
All by time is because it's attached to every person.
Time is attached to every person. Every person is caged by time. And then Allah is talking about every person.
Through the time.
Okay, it's kind of getting close. Tahir, what do you think? MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Tahir said that, by citing time as a thing to take an oath by, is sending a message that time is running out. And what is going to happen to you in the end is that you're going to be in a state of utter loss. This is another answer. It's not the one I had in my mind, but it's another very good answer. In fact, I might write it down myself. Okay. Yes, brother.
Time until the day of Qiyamah.
Time until the day of Qiyamah? Yeah, so that's the meaning. So time until the day of resurrection. But why did Allah choose to take an oath? For example, why didn't Allah took an oath by Wad-Duha? Yeah, Ad-Duha time is A specific time. It's before the afternoon, before the sun reaches zenith. That's a specific time. Allah took an oath by, al-layl wal-layl. What did Allah take an oath else by? What else did Allah take an oath by in the Quran? Yeah, the fig, wat-tini wa-zaytun. So there's many things, okay, that Allah's taken an oath by. So specifically, why did Allah take an oath by time here? That's the question. Yep.
Is it because it's the one factor that adds value to everything else?
Mm-hmm.
If you remove time, nothing really actually has value. Like, would you much rather like £1 a second or like £100,000 every year?
Uh-huh.
You would choose, because like time actually adds the value.
So if you're saying that time adds value to our experiences,
Yeah.
then why do you think that,
Because it's the most important thing to us.
but how does that impact on the declaration, which is that man, in general, is in a state of loss? Do you see? How does wal asr, according to this meaning, impact on the declaration? How does it make it more meaningful? How does it make it more significant, more profound? You already had the chance, bro. Yeah.
Man's distracted with the worldly life.
Yeah.
So his time is spent on that. Maybe just
Man's time is spent in wasting time. Is wasting time. Come on, somebody else. I think you had a try already. Yep, at the end there.
Just to see one last time, it's just the time where you still have time if you consider in the context of the day.
No, but we're going with the opinion, which we said is that it refers to all time, any time. Anyone? Yes, sister.
From what I think it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking oath by the time that it's to come, like a day of judgment, that it will happen for the mankind will be either in a loss or those who have the sabr.
Yep.
I think it's taking the time for the qiyamah, the day of judgment, that it will happen.
Yes, but you see here, sister, what's happening?
Loss.
But what we're saying now, or what you're saying rather, is that wal asr refers to the day of judgment. But
That time.
La, but this is now saying this is the tafsir of al asr. But the tafsir of al asr isn't the day of judgment. I've already clarified what the tafsir is, isn't it? Because what the tafsir is saying, what does it mean? Okay, it means time in general. It doesn't mean Yawm al-Qiyamah. No, it doesn't mean Yawm al-Qiyamah. Okay, so based on that meaning, this question is being posed, which is a tadabbur question. Why? Why time? Why not something else? طيب. Yes, Ustad.
It's the only commodity that one has which is in regression.
This is okay. So it's interesting, subhanAllah. It's one commodity that we all have, which is decreasing for every single one of us. So it's decreasing, and loss means decrease as well. Interesting. I'll write that one down. Taib, let me just. Oh, sorry, you wanted to?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Once it's gone, you can't bring it back.
Once it's gone, it's gone. Yeah, you lost it. It's very similar to what Uncle's saying. It's true. Okay, one very famous scholar in our times, Dr. Fadil Samurai, an Arab, he focuses on the linguistic nuances of the Quran. You must be aware of Nu'man Khan, mashallah. A lot of what he says, especially previously, maybe now it's a bit different, comes from this man, Dr. Fadil Samurai. A lot of what he says, nuances he says, it doesn't mean this, it means this, and why here, why, it comes from this man. Okay, so he said that the reason why Al-Asr, time is being brought to swear by, and not anything else, is because time is a witness to all mankind. It is a witness to the fact that you are in a state of loss. It witnesses all of your kufr, your shirk, your disobedience through all times, all eras, all places, all people. Time knows that you are in a state of khusr. And that's why I'm swearing by it. SubhanAllah. And it's so true. Time, no one can escape time. Time witnesses everything we do, good and bad. And what it witnesses is that, you know what, human beings, you're not doing justice to why you were created. And you're going to end up in khusr. And that is what Allah says, Innal insana lafi khusr. Interesting point he made. Next verse, Innal insana lafi khusr. You can see some highlighted parts of this verse. What you can see highlighted are extra words or letters that give emphasis. So without the emphasis, somebody would say man is in loss. But the verse doesn't say man is in loss. It says inna, indeed, of a surety, without a shadow of a doubt, al-insan, meaning man in general as a species, not one particular man. Lafi, lam is for tawqeed, emphasis, is really and truly in khusr, loss. Do you see the extra emphasis there? It makes it more powerful, doesn't it? Man is surely, without a shadow of doubt, in total loss. SubhanAllah. That's the declaration Allah gives first. It's quite shocking. What does khusr mean? Interesting word. Yes? You can write indeed mankind is in loss. You can, yeah. But if you want to get the real, meaning across, you've got to take into consideration these little subtleties. And it gives more beauty in the translation. Now the word khusr, what does it mean? This word is actually a business word. It's a word used in finance. Okay? Because the meaning of khusr is nuqsan. Nuqsan means loss, deficiency, shortcoming. But Allah didn't use the word nuqsan, He used the word khusr. So khusr has an extra meaning that nuqsan doesn't. It doesn't mean bankruptcy, no. Khusr refers to when somebody loses their investment as well as the capital. Like a man, he wants to open up his own chicken and chip shop. That's what most people want to do nowadays, right? Well, now they peri, isn't it? Peri. So he saved up 10 grand. And he says, I'm going to put this into this investment. I'm going to open up my own chicken and chip shop. 1 year down the line, not only has he not made any profit, he's also lost the 10 grand as well. He's lost the capital as well as the investment failing as well. He never made no money. And when he comes to sell it, because he's so much in debt, at the end of it all, after everything's done, liquidations happen, he's lost everything invested as well as the initial capital of 10 grand as well. He lost everything. Subhanallah. Allah says that is where the fate of man is in general. Ibn Qayyim said this is referring to the akhirah. In the akhirah, man is going to be in khusr. Now there's a question I'm going to ask now. Why do you think Allah used a word which has business connotation in order to send this message? Okay. There's two other words in the Quran that sound very similar. Does anyone know what those words are? Khusr. What else do you have? Huh? Khusr? Usr. No. As in like it's the same letters. Kha, Sin, Ra. Khasara and Khusran. You heard these words? Khasara and Khusran. Khasara. What does khasara mean that khusr doesn't? Khasara means when you lose after losing some already. Double loss. You already were in loss and you lost some more. Allah says in Surah Fatir, verse number 39, وَلَا يَزِيدُ الْكَافِرِينَ كُفْرُهُمْ إِلَّا خَسَارًا. That the kafir will not increase in the sight of Allah in terms of their kufr except in khasara, meaning hatred. SubhanAllah, that's how Allah feels about people that disbelieve in Him. Hatred. But the word Allah uses khasara. So why did Allah use the word khasara here, not khusr? Because are they already in loss with their kufr? They are, isn't it? So when they do more kufr, that just adds to the loss that they already were suffering. SubhanAllah. So Allah used the word khasara there. because they're already in loss with their kufr, and then they do more kufr, and that only increases them in khasara, a word that shows that they were already in loss, experiencing more loss.
Sorry, what was the ayat number on that, please?
39. Now the other word, khusran. Khusran, it is what they called mubalagha. It is a more intense word for khusr. So khusr means loss, and khusran means an incredible loss. A huge, monumental loss. And look at the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about that in the Quran. This word khusran, I think it mentioned in Surah Hajj, خسر الدنيا والآخرة ذلك خسران المبين. Subhanallah. Allah said that they lost the dunya and the akhirah. Is that a big loss? Is that a loss or is that a really big loss? So Allah brought the word khusran. Subhanallah. Khusran, that they lost everything. Forget just about the akhirah. That's already a huge loss. Dunya wal akhirah, dhalika khusranul mubin. You know, and one of the interesting lessons that we can extract from showing the differences between these three words is that in Surah Al-Asr, Allah used the word khusr. Yeah? And Allah never used the word khasara. Khasara means what? Huh? Loss after loss. Khusr just means loss. So it's as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you might think that, you know, you were born a loser. That's not true. You earned your loss. You weren't already on a losing streak when I made you. That's khasara. You were born ahsani taqweem, set up to be a person who succeeds. But then you earned your loss. Like a person earns, you know, their loss in terms of their investment. It's the way they invested. Poorly, you know, didn't play their cards right, made bad decisions, ended up losing. So they're in khusr. So the question now for Hazelnut Crunch is, why did Allah use a word that has business connotation in giving this message? 1, 2, 3. Ali in the back there. Ali, you already got one, isn't it? Oh, you just want to answer for the sake of answering. Tayyib. Sisters, anyone? Why does that keep happening? I'm connected to Wi-Fi now. Tayyib. Who really wants to answer it? You know, I know you guys want to answer. Who really thinks, you know, they got it? Sorry? Yeah, go ahead. Let's give sisters first.
Okay, it's because, I don't know if I can explain it properly or not, because it's trading, you know, you
Yeah.
will, what you do in dunya,
Yeah.
in akhirah, so it's like business trading, isn't it? You give and you get back that in return.
Okay, so
I can't explain it.
So you're saying like Allah gave us this life, it's, you know, this is our investment, and then if we use it badly, we lose our investment in the akhirah? Or you're saying that if you do good, you know, it's like you're putting forward money and then in return Jannah is given to you.
Yeah, it's like an investment that you invest, so if we invest in akhirah,
Yeah.
then we will get it there.
Okay, so Allah wants us to think of it like an investment. Okay,
Yeah.
but it's close. It's close. Okay, who put their hand up, said they really want to answer? Okay, you go ahead.
Why he uses a business term is because it's tangible. A man can see it. Like when you invest in something,
Yeah.
you reap your benefits. When you lose something, you really hit home. So it's
Yeah.
something that is almost like personal to man because he can actually, you know, when you make money,
Yeah.
it's, you know, when you lose it,
Yeah.
it really hurts.
It really hurts, yeah.
It kind of loses your ego.
Okay, so that's very close, mashallah, which is easy. Hands. That you're saying that, you know, the money factor is something that human beings can,
That's the only way we see things.
that's the way we see things. And we
We're
feel,
very, what we say, is it myopic? Is it short-sighted?
short-sighted. Yeah. Can anyone, okay. It's very close. Okay, could we have phones on silent, please? Because you know this is being recorded, so we would like to no disturbance, inshallah. Please put your phone on silent. Yes.
Is it why, that's why Allah put the surah in between the two other surahs, which is Al-Takathur and Al-Baqarah,
About money.
about money?
No, but that answers a different question, which is why Allah placed the word khusr here regarding its position between the two surahs. We're not saying that. We're just saying, why did Allah choose a word that has business connotation to give this message in this surah, which is man is in a state of loss.
Monetary loss which it pinches.
Monetary loss pinches us. We feel the pain of monetary loss. That's true. It does. And anything else? Yeah?
It's because when it comes to money, people are really serious about it.
Oh, okay.
Basically, like, it's all to do with how much you make. You know, you actually start to think about the actual consequences. So Allah here is basically pointing towards the fact that you should really think about this seriously, just like how you think about money.
Oh, okay, mashallah, you got it. Mashallah. Tadal, take this. I know it's from Aldi, but you know, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I'll pick it up later.
Yeah, you sure? Take note. Oh yeah, okay, no, inshallah. Thank you. So the brother said that, you know, when it comes to money and business, people start thinking properly. True or not? People start using their aql. Gonna make a business? Hang on a minute, I'm just gonna put 10 grand into that. Can you tell me, what's your plans for that money exactly? What's your strategy? You know, have you, the area that you're gonna open up there, is it a good viable area? What's your 5-year strategy? And, bro, why you know, where these questions come from? It's my money. I'm not gonna just give my money anywhere. I'm gonna think properly about this thing. Subhanallah. That is the way Allah spoke about the akhirah, using monetary terms. Because people think rationally when it comes to money. Look at how Allah spoke about reward in the Quran. What word comes up a lot when Allah speaks about reward? What word? Jaza. And somebody else said another word? Huh? Ajr. You know what ajr means? Wage. Ajr means wage. Jaza means what? Payment. Subhanallah. Monetary words being used in order to tap into the rational thinking of man. Think about this properly. This is khusr. Yeah, you know, when your business failed that time, how you felt? You're going to feel a lot worse in the akhirah if you carry on like this. Okay? That's one benefit of the word khusr being used.
So jaza is the reward.
Jaza can be translated as reward, but linguistically jaza means, what does it mean? Payment. So if you were to read the word jaza in normal Arabic, you know, articles, they most probably be speaking about payment. Yeah.
Ajr is the reward then. What would ajr be?
See, all of these words can be translated as reward.
Both of them.
Both of them, yeah. One of them is jaza, meaning the actual payment of the wage, and the other one refers to the wage itself. Ajr is the wage, jaza is like the payment of the wage. Okay, now 2 lessons we learn from this. Number 1 lesson is that the majority position of man is kufr. Seriously. Is that true? That most people are destined to go to the hellfire? Is that what we believe? We do. Okay. You know what, it's not really clear here that that's really the case. Can you show me somewhere else in the Quran that makes it very clear that this is the case? Can you? If somebody opened the Quran, first time ever, and started reading from Al-Fatiha, he comes to Surah Baqarah and he reads, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِمْ أَأَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Subhanallah. In the very beginning of the Quran, Allah states this fact. And He's talking about you, O Messenger of Allah. The person who's the most articulate in conveying the message of Islam. The one who's got the best character that will, you know, throw people into veneration. He, whether you advise them, warn them, or you don't warn them, they won't believe. Subhanallah. Most people won't believe. Yes, that is the sad reality. You know, Surah Yasin. لَقَدْ حَقَّ الْقَوْلُ عَلَى who? أَكْثَرِهِمْ أَكْثَرِهِمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Subhanallah. لَقَدْ حَقَّ الْقَوْلُ means, At-Tabari said, وَجَبَ الْعَذَابِ, that the punishment of the akhirah is become binding upon them. Upon who? أَكْثَرِهِمْ. Subhanallah. Most people. Why? فَهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ, because they refuse to believe. Most people are not going to believe and submit themselves to Allah. That is the sad reality. Most people. Second thing is that we learn that disbelief is the worst of the worst. If somebody was to say to you, for example, somebody from the BBC stopped you on the street and said, oh, we can recognize you as a practicing Muslim, you got your beard and you're wearing a thobe, is it? Yeah, thobe. Can I ask you, I was just wondering, what would you say is the worst thing happening in the world right now? What's the worst thing? Is it ISIS? Is that the worst thing happening in the world right now? Is it climate change? Is it climate change? What's the worst thing? And he says, I'm not going to even record this. You're off air. You don't need to worry about this. It's just me, I really want to know. Would we say that disbelieving in God, not being a Muslim, is the worst thing anybody can do? Would we say that? It's quite shameful, isn't it? We wouldn't, huh? Yes, uncle?
I said, just believing depending on which person or if I'm the person Muslim, I think it is disobedience.
Yes. But even disobedience, if a Muslim was asked you, what's the worst thing anybody can do? It's kufr, no? Shirk and kufr. Doesn't matter who you're addressing in that. It's an absolute truth. Not relative. It's not depending on what time you're living in. Now it's climate change, tomorrow it'll be kufr. No. It is an absolute truth that kufr in Allah is the worst of the worst things. Worse than terrorism, worse than killing, worse than rape, worse than frauding, worse than bad character. It is the worst of the worst. It eclipses any other crime. Is that what we believe? What's the proof of this? What's the proof that, kufr and shirk is worse than anything else? Yes, Ali. Ahsant. Allah said, Inna shirka la dhulmun azim. Indeed, shirk is the greatest dhulm, greatest wrongdoing. Any other proof? Very good. This is even more explicit. Allah says, Inna Allah la yaghfiru an yushraka bihi wa yaghfiru ma duna dhalika liman yasha. Allah says, and this is in, I think, 2 places in the Quran, indeed, Allah does not forgive the one who does shirk with Him, though He is ready, this is the translation, to forgive any other sin. Any other sin? Any other sin. Allah is prepared to forgive any other sin except for this one here. And shirk is like kufr, because both of them entail disbelieving in Allah. True? Okay, so it's explicitly mentioned in the Quran that this is the worst of the worst things. Okay, so we need to think about that, because, is that really the way we think? That the worst thing anybody can do is do kufr with Allah? Or do we think that the worst thing anybody could do is, is what? What do people usually think the worst thing?
Like
Murder, yeah. What else? What do Muslims think is the worst thing that anybody can do? Average Muslim guy on the street. Average Muslim guy on the street asked, what's the worst thing that anybody can do? you think he's going to say, you know what Israel's doing to Palestine? It's disgusting. It's the worst of the worst. It's true, it's damn disgusting, but is it the worst of the worst? You see, that's indicative of a particular mindset, which is that it is not the fact that they are kafir that makes them the worst of the worst. It's because they're kafir, and please pay attention to this, that they are oppressing Muslims, harming me, my community, my brother, my sister, my son. That is the reason why they're the worst of the worst. Well, actually, if you believe that, then what you are saying is that if they reject Allah, you know, it's not good, but it's up to them. But the moment they turn a gun on me, my people, that's when I see them as the worst of the worst. What you're actually saying is that you placed yourself above Allah. Isn't it? You're saying once they show me enmity, I take them as an enemy. If they show Allah enmity, it's between them and Allah. This is your Allah, the one that you claim to love, the one that you say is Akbar. And this person treating him like that, and you're indifferent to that. But the moment they turn a gun to you, you say, hey, we're enemies now. So what you actually did is say, the only one who's deserving of my enmity is the one who shows me enmity, not Allah. And in that way you place yourself above Allah. How did this happen? Well, because you don't perceive kufr to be the worst thing anybody could do. Do you agree with me or not? You agree? Okay, let's move on, inshallah. We got 15-20 minutes now, inshallah, to the end. Next verse. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. إِلَّا, except those that believe, do righteous actions, and urge each other to the truth, and urge each other to steadfastness. Some explanation here. Notice how Allah began by saying illa, except. Now, you know when you have an exception to the rule, is that exception usually more or less? Yeah? If I say, you know, the people in this room are cold, except. Am I going to say except meaning less people than all the people in the room? Of course. Yeah? So, we're already being told by Allah there's only a few of you that will escape this khusr. Only a few. And even that, subhanAllah, makes you want to listen. What makes these people the exception? Yeah? What makes people? They are those that amanu, that have iman. And then they act on that iman. They're not just people who profess to have iman. They're actually people that profess to have iman and show they have iman by, as At-Tabari said, doing those things that Allah has commanded of them and stay away from those things that Allah has told them to stay away from. That is how they show they have iman. So they do these two things. Have iman and show they have iman by following the commandments of Allah, staying away from His prohibitions. Then they do something else. See, Allah never mentioned the next thing that they do, or rather, saying that they do good actions, doesn't that already include doing da'wah and telling people to have sabr? Doesn't it already include that? Isn't, good actions inclusive of tawasaw bil haqq and tawasaw bil sabr? Isn't it? It is. It's already included. But Allah Jalla wa Ala made it explicit. For all of the good things that you can do, two things are going to be taken out here. Tawasaw bil haqq and tawasaw bil sabr. Showing the importance of these two things. So, exception is the one who believes, shows his faith through good deeds, and wa. Yeah? Wa amilu salihat wa tawasaw. And then does tawasa. What does tawasa mean? Tawasa means to urge others to do something. To urge others to do something. So what does Allah say that they urge other people to do? They urge them with the Islam, Quran, or haqq. Which word did Allah use? Islam, Quran, haqq. Haqq means the truth. Not just haqq, al-haqq, the truth. Now, of course, the truth encompasses the Quran, Islam, and everything that Islam stands for. True or not? But why did Allah use the word al-haq instead of using the word al-Islam? Al-Quran. Yeah? At-Tabari said that the meaning of al-haq is al-Quran. But the thing is, what is being said here is not, they urge, John Smith on the street, read Quran, read Quran, read Quran. What they mean is that urge John Smith to accept everything the Quran stands for. Yeah? However, the question remains, why did Allah use the word, urge other people to act on the haqq or the truth and not Islam or Quran? Why? What does haqq give in terms of meaning that saying Quran and Islam doesn't really give? Yes? It does encompass all that. Okay. Say that again, sir. It encompasses all those things.
Instead of saying individually, you say it encompasses.
No, Allah Jalla Qadr said Al-Quran. One thing, Quran. But instead of saying Quran, Allah said Al-Haq. Yep.
Maybe haq encompasses the actual saying just Quran. Haq encompasses the deeper sense of the Quran and the Islam. So it's
Right.
more practical.
Okay, that's kind of getting closer. Yep. Abdullah, sorry.
That like you don't add your own stuff.
You don't add your own stuff, what do you mean?
You don't add your own stuff, so what you say is truth. How you urge the people.
Well, what you urge others to must be the truth. Not really, no. Husnain or? Husnain, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's true, but maybe when you're giving dawah,
Yep.
when you use these words, people might be sensitive to Islam and they
Ah.
might not like it.
Okay.
When they say the truth, that's what they're familiar with, truth and falsehood.
Okay, so truth is more generic,
Yeah.
and Allah is speaking about not just people, Muslims. Allah is speaking about urging Muslims as well as non-Muslims. Now, do non-Muslims understand Al-Quran? Do they even agree that Al-Quran is something from Allah? They don't. But human beings do have a sense of truth, isn't it? Every human being would agree that there are some things that are true in life. We won't agree what they are, but we agree that there are some things that are the truth, right or wrong. And in our times, obviously, people say there's no such thing as absolute truth, but that's going against human intuition. People do believe that there are certain things that are absolutely true. They differ as to what they are. So by using the word al-haq, it captures this essence of human beings, that they know certain things are true. However, who is the one telling them about the truth? It is the believer, which kind of means that the believer is the one who knows the truth, but the disbeliever is the one, he doesn't know the truth. He doesn't know the truth. He's unaware of the truth. Do you get that? So it's like Allah is saying, look, man is over here. This is his sorry state. And then the believers will come, and after they've rectified their own selves by having iman and acting on that iman, then they got a role of educating man. Now man, he doesn't even know al-haq. So they need to teach them al-haq. And subhanAllah, Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah mentioned a beautiful point. He said that the more a person sins and disobeys Allah, he gets a blindness in his eye. And his eye is unable to distinguish truth from falsehood. Up until the extent that he believes that certain things are true when they're in fact false. And he believes certain things are false when they're in fact true. And he believes certain things are good when in fact they're evil. He's unable to distinguish truth from falsehood. And this is a direct cause of their distance from Allah. And subhanAllah, look in our times, my brothers and sisters. Look, for example, at the redefining of the word marriage in our state. 2014 is the year in which the British people decided to redefine a word from the dictionary. What word? Marriage. Marriage no longer means the reunion of man and woman. What does it mean? Reunion of man and woman, or man and man, or man or woman or woman. Subhanallah, yani you can't see that this is wrong. And on top of that, you're saying that it is the opposite. Do you see here? It's the opposite. Marriage is not only the reunion between man and woman, it can be the opposite. Man and man. And how true was what Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said, that because of their distance from Allah, they end up seeing the haqq as batil and batil as the haqq. So what Allah is teaching us here, that the sorry state of man, that he doesn't even know, he doesn't even know al-haqq. So tawasaw bil-haqq is our job, to teach man the truth. And the greatest truth is the belief in Allah and to submit to Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's the greatest truth. There are many other truths that come afterwards. And the job of the believer is to teach everybody else about those. So Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, when he's discussing Surah Al-Asr, he actually rewords the way we can categorize the elements. Instead of saying Iman, he says it is knowledge. Okay? So Allah says, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Those are those, he says, number one, that they have ma'rifah, knowledge. And then عَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ means that they are those that educate themselves about what they know. Yeah, that they educate themselves about what they know in order to act on it. Third thing is they educate others about it that don't know. And the fourth thing is that they educate others about sticking and acting on those things that they never knew of. So it's about reform. And this is the essence of the surah, about reform. Reforming yourself and then reforming the society around you. Yeah? And that's why the scene is set. Man is in loss. They're messed up. And then I'm sending you believers to change that. A very powerful message. And the way you do that is, number one, educate them about the truth. And number two, and this is where we come to the end, is that you urge them to have sabr. Now, why do you think Allah is telling us right at the end that educating them about the truth is not enough? You need to go one step further and urge one another to have sabr too. That's the end. Why? What relationship does sabr have to do with doing da'wah? Why was sabr brought here after da'wah, after educating others? Why not before? Fair question? Why not before? Yeah.
Maybe it's because the first bit, right, is you pass on the messages.
Yep.
Right, you pass on the truth.
Yep.
But what the conclusion is requires patience, and that's in the hands of Allah.
Okay, very good. So you can educate yourself about how to be a good Muslim, but whether or not you can implement it, that's another scenario, right? We may know a lot, but we might do a little. So in order to do what you know, there's an element of sabr, perseverance. You need to persevere. Without the sabr, you know what you educate yourself and others about may never come into actualization. Very good. But there's another reason as well. Yeah.
It's not man that changes the hearts, it's Allah. So we leave it to Allah. That's what the son of
Ah, okay. So the brother, what's your name? Hassan. Hassan said, because after you give da'wah, you want to see the fruits of the da'wah, right? You want to see reform happening, you want to see people come to Islam, but most people won't. And in that you need to have sabr, patience. Good, again, but it's not the main meaning. Yes.
Well, from the Quranic story, it's a full-time job. And that means that it's not whether you succeed or you don't succeed, whether you see the fruit or you don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's about you continuing doing it, because that is all you see.
Okay, so you're saying it's a difficult job to do this, tawasaw bil haqq, and you need to remember to have patience because it's a lifelong journey, difficult as well. Kind of, but it's not 100% there. I'll have to give the answer now because of time. The thing is, if man is in khusr, which means that their lifestyle is messed up, and then you're coming along and you're the little old exception, and you're coming and say, hey, you're in khusr, messed up, you need to change things up around here. Let me tell you what Allah revealed to the Prophet ﷺ. This is what you're doing is wrong, this is wrong, and you need to be like this. You need to give up this, and you need to be like this. You need to change your political system, it needs to be like this. Riba is a problem. This is the way. You don't give sadaqah, don't. What do you think the people are going to be like? They're going to be like, oh yeah, well, that sounds really good, that is. Let's pay you for that information. Or what are they going to be like? They're going to get angry. They're not going to think, excuse me, who are you to come here and question our British values? What do you know? No, we're not going to accept this. So subhanallah, the reformer, like the prophets, they encountered difficulty, abuse, ridicule, because of the situation that they are upon the haqq, and they need to bring mankind into haqq. And mankind will resist. And some of mankind will get violent, some of mankind will get abusive, some of mankind will ridicule you. And this is something we find in the stories of the prophets. Every time they try, people reject. And not just, no thank you very much, be on your way. No, we're going to stone you, we're going to kill you, we're going to expel you. So if that is the case when you do da'wah, it makes sense then for Allah to say, whoa, there's one other thing. Before you start your journey, remember you need to have sabr on the abuse of the people. Yeah? You need to have sabr on the abuse of the people. Because the way they're going to react is not going to be good. Make sense? Okay, inshallah. We have to end here. There's some linguistic points we'll come back to maybe another time. And the last lesson we want to, because of time, there's one main lesson here. The second lesson here is that we need to recalibrate our understanding of success. Because here Allah first declared that man is in loss. Then Allah declared that that a few will succeed. And then Allah showed us how they succeed. This is the type of mentality they have on life and the way they live their life. And this is success. Oh, this is success? Well, I thought the guy with the fast car, credentials, with the top job, 6-figure salary, I thought that was success, Is that really success? Sometimes it's actually failure, true or not? It's failure from a religious perspective. For example, if you were to go back in a time machine to the time of Fir'aun and Musa alayhi salam, which house do you think would be the biggest? Which car do you think would be the finest? House of who? Fir'aun. But Fir'aun was the biggest loser. Subhanallah. And he had the most world with him. He had the most worldly comforts. Yeah. But he was the worst loser. One other thing before you finish is that, being, the black sheep of the society, being someone who is constantly defamed, ridiculed, mocked by other people, that's someone you think, you're a loser, man, come on, sort yourself out. Everyone looks at you and makes a joke at you. Might be true, however, the case might be the opposite. Look at Nuh alayhi salam. When he built the ark inspired by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَيَصْنَعُ الْفُلْكَ وَكُلَّمَا مَرَّ عَلَيْهِ مَلَأٌ سَخِرُوا مِنْ. Every time the notables from the society, not just simple people, the elite, passed by Nuh alayhi salam, when he's building the ship, sakhiru min, they scoffed at him. Pathetic. Building an ark, he was a source of ridicule. قال إن تسخروا منا فإنا نسخر منكم كما تسخرون. Subhanallah. Nuh alayhi salam wasn't fazed one iota. He said, the way you are ridiculing me, we in turn ridicule you in the same way. I know I'm on the truth. And being a source of ridicule in society make you think I'm a failure. I'm not a failure. I'm not a failure. So we need to recalibrate the way we perceive success and failure. And Surah Al-Asr, allows us to do that. With that, inshallah, we'll come to the end of Surah Al-Asr tafsir. Subhanakallah wa hamdik wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk wa jazakumullah khairan.